breaking point for me was when I had a seizure at my grandma's house. It's nice to be able to actually show my family the real Jack. Straight after work, I'll go and get a packet of cocaine and just sniff it by myself. And then obviously I went to rehab, and then after that I came out, and running was the first thing I got back into as soon as I got out. Honestly, I wouldn't change the journey that I've been on, because it shaped me who I am today. It shaped me into the person I am today. And yeah, so from probably the age of 18, when I finished school, drugs and alcohol became a problem for me. I was pretty much a binge drinker on the weekends. Didn't know when to stop. Got myself in a lot of trouble in a lot of circumstances. And yeah, gambling, the gambling side of things definitely started from a young age. I used to go to the races with my families, and always had a love for the horse racing. But yeah, soon I was from probably the age of 16 when I was able to put my own bets on. It started to become a problem, and I would I'd use pretty much spend my whole paycheck on gambling every week, and then borrow money to go out on the weekends and party all my feelings away. So yeah, I was sort of stuck in a vicious cycle from the age of 18 to 25, where pretty much all I did was live for the weekends. And as time went on, it progressively got worse and worse, to the point where I had a couple of seizures, one on Christmas Day one time. That was pretty devastating for my family. They didn't know the extent that my cocaine use was at the time. And then I actually had another seizure in 2020 as well. But yeah, over the years, it's something that I've certainly struggled with, mainly drugs and gambling. But it's always going to be there for me. But I've certainly been able to find tools and get the help I need to overcome these problems. It's also one of those things that I have had slip-ups from time to time in the last sort of 4 years since I have turned my life around, but it's I'm always open and honest about it when it does happen. But yeah, it was a big problem for me for a long time. So it's what I used to use to sort of get by and make myself feel better, but really I wasn't feeling any better. It was just making me feel worse. So yeah, the lowest point was back in 2020 during COVID. I was using cocaine most days by myself. I wasn't able to see family and friends, which was, at the time, I was really struggling, but I thought that was the best way to deal with things. And the sort of breaking point for me was when I had a seizure at my grandma's house. I was living with my grandma at the time, and I used to put her through a lot of stress and pain. I would go out at all hours of the night and not care what she said, and it wasn't, looking back now, it's certainly not something that I'm proud of, but the lowest point was definitely probably having that seizure at my grandma's house and waking up and having in the back of an ambulance, which I'm very lucky that I haven't done more damage to myself. So I was lucky my grandma was actually there to be able to call the ambulance. But yeah, that was really the tipping point for me, that moment, and I went to rehab and got some help, which really sort of kick-started things for me. But yeah, I came out of rehab then, and that's when I really wanted to make a change, and decided that I don't want to live the life I have been and address the problems I have in the way I was feeling mentally. So yeah, that was a very low point in my life. Yeah, look, at the time, I didn't really, I wasn't really too because I was so like in my own head and my own addictions, I didn't really think about the effect that it would have on my family, all the decisions I was making and the things I was doing. But as time's gone on and I have grown as a person, I look back at those times and, I put my family through a lot of hard times and pain, and it's something I'm not proud of, but it took me a long time to realise that. And I love my family. They've always been there to support me through the good and the bad times. So yeah, it would have been very tough for them at the time, but I know that they're very proud of me now, of the person that I have become. And it's one of those things that I probably don't reflect on enough. I don't take enough time to reflect on it at times. Actually, how far I have come from those days, because they weren't good. And that's it's nice to be able to actually show my family the real Jack, and everyone else as well, because friends and family are everything to me, and that's what I've being an only child. It's something that I've always loved, being around people, so I always look after my friends and my family. So it's digging deeper into it, it's probably one of those things I probably didn't have any direction with my life and didn't really know what I wanted to do, and always I sort of just fell into it after I finished school. I thought that was what life was about, going out and partying and having fun, and for a long time I didn't have any purpose or direction with my life. I just thought that I always had to live a life of the party and having big weekends and being the last one to be out. But so when it got really bad for me was obviously during COVID to 2020. So I was still working at the time as a labourer, but it sort of would wake up in the morning, go to work, and then straight after work I'll go and get a packet of cocaine and just sniff it by myself. I thought that was going to make me feel better, but it actually just made me feel a lot worse, and made me anxious and made me paranoid. I thought it was having a good effect on me, but it actually was having a bad effect on me. But it was one of those things that I couldn't stop at the time. I thought that was the only way to deal with how I was feeling internally, because I was feeling lost, feeling alone probably as well. I just had no sort of self-respect for myself. At my lowest point, I thought at one stage there wasn't a way back, but luckily I had a very supporting family, but at the same time I also reached that point where I actually wanted to get some help, because you've got to want to help yourself when you are in a dark place and you're not going well with your life, you're not happy where you're at. You've got to want to change yourself and get the help. You've got to reach out. Sometimes you've got to reach out and actually want to get the help. People can support you and give you advice, but at that point in 2020 I went to rehab, and I'd been a couple of times before, but I didn't go for the right reasons. I was just going because my family wanted me to go. But at this lowest point in 2020, I wanted to change my life, and I knew that there's always a way back, because I knew deep down I was a good person, even though I might not have been operating like one at the time. So yeah, that's advice for anyone else out there. There is always a way back. You're going to struggle with life. At your darkest times, there's always light at the end of the tunnel, and that's why I'm so passionate about helping others that are in that same position that I was once. That one day, it was when I was stuck in that position. There was people, trying to support me and help me, and that's, at the end of the day, my family sort of always been there for me. Something that certainly kick-started me wanting to change, because luckily I did have the support of them through all the bad times that I put them through. Yeah, so the running side of things was it's something that certainly changed my life. It's one of my biggest passions, and it's something that when I was at my worst, I started, one of my mates actually at Malali messaged me during COVID, and he sort of knew what was going on as well, and he said, "Do you want to go for a run?" And I said, "Yeah," because I always loved running growing up. Through school, I didn't really do too much after school. I was sort of just played footy and was sort of a little bit chubby, overweight. Didn't really take any pride in my health and fitness, so he actually got me back into it in 2020 when I was still at my worst, and then obviously I went to rehab, and then after that I came out, and running was the first thing I got back into as soon as I got out, and it's something that it's something that really helps my mental health. But to be honest with you, if you had told me 5 years ago that I was going to be running 100k a day for 100 days and bringing people together and raising money for a mental health charity, I really wouldn't have thought that at all. But it's funny how life works, and you're going to chase your passions, and I love helping other people. So, and the best thing about running as well is all you got to do is chuck your 2 shoes on and head out the door, and there's no limitations to it, how far you can push yourself. I would say, it is a little bit like obviously that running 100k a day for 100 days is obviously a big challenge, and something that I've challenged myself to, but the bigger picture in my mind is what I take out of doing something like this is the community and inspiring others and bringing people together and creating that connection with others, because that's something that is priceless. It's something that, that's what I've taken out of this event, is meeting new people, getting to know someone, asking them about their life, how they're going, and those little chats mean a lot to me, and I'm sure to other people as well, and that's why I love doing something like this. It's and obviously mental health is something that I'm very passionate about and want to continue to help others that are struggling out there, because I've been there, and I still do struggle from time to time, but now that I have spoken openly about it and I speak to friends, loved ones or professionals, I feel a lot better about myself. Look, it's always going to be there for me, but I've certainly found for myself to be able to really help myself from not going back to my old ways, is that I've got to have a goal to work towards, because it keeps me focused and occupied and on track, and that's something that I've really found helps. And also speaking to others about how you are going, definitely something. There's times where I have felt like, I want to go have a big night or get back on it, and I've spoken about it, and that's when I speak about it to others, they help me through it as well. That's big. I would say to him that life's always going to throw you challenges, and things are going to happen in your life that aren't going to go to plan, but there's always a way back, and I wish I had spoken openly about how I was feeling internally more when I was younger. But you know what? Honestly, I wouldn't change the journey that I've been on, because it shaped me who I am today. It shaped me into the person I am today, and I'm proud of how far I have come, because I have come a long way since back in the day.